and watch to make sure. But look like to me they don't.
It's connecting with Facebook. If this doesn't work, Jackie, we're gonna do what we did before and go to YouTube Live. Okay, it just did something. I don't know what it did. Okay, it's still doing a circle thing.
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't try. I wouldn't do it. Because you're going to get half of your program cut off, like it before. You had half of the program cut off.
Hold on, Jackie. Just hold on, baby. Nope. I don't get it. I don't think that worked, Jackie.
They're going to cut off on you. They're going to cut off. They're going to start recording and cut off like it did the first time.
All right, let me come out of Facebook.
We just set it in there. That's all.
Go back. Actually, it says live on Facebook. We're actually live on Facebook. It's recording now. So we're gonna see. Yeah, it's recording now. It says live on Facebook.
Okay. Well, you're gonna cut it. So you
start. I'm gonna leave it, but this is being recorded anyway.
And what you gonna do? Put it on YouTube afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I put it on YouTube afterwards, but it's also going to go up on JBL TV network.
Okay.
Actually, the episodes that we already did is up on JBL TV network.
Okay.
Jacqueline, can you hear us?
Yes. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And we're waiting on what? 2 more people? Got a few more minutes before we actually get started. If y'all ladies need to share on your Facebook, please share so they can hear your story. Yeah, we're waiting on 2 more people. I like your head wrap, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Oh, what did I do? There we go. Thought I lost y'all. Okay, we got 4 more minutes. Welcome, come on in. We are live. Come on in. Hi, Andrea.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. We're just waiting on one more person.
Like your head wrap as well. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Mm. These are wonderful. I get them from Kim Carr, What a Girl Wants. She has all kind of accessories and earrings and wraps, and she has What a Girl Wants.
And that's the name of her business, right?
Uh-huh. Yes, and I love them. Cause I know we live, but still, I'm that person that had a hard time trying to wrap them and put them in the right place, and my daughters would make me unwrap them and redo them. So this is just a cap. It comes
Okay.
pre-wrapped, so.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I thought with all
Well, this is actually a hybrid. So this is a cap, and it's got ties, but I still have to tie it. But that's easy.
yeah, this is just slip on and go. Zoom meeting. Oh, go. Especially today because I had a wasp in my room. That's why I was a little late logging in. As soon as I got ready, I heard Zoom. So I had to go grab my husband and say, "Can you get this thing out real quick?"
Mm-hmm.
The wonderful.
And where are we live so I can share?
We are live on Facebook.
Just on Facebook. Okay, gotcha.
So it's live on Facebook. The last couple of times we did live on YouTube. So we decided to try Facebook this time because the last time we went on Facebook like cut half our stuff off.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. He gets to control a whole lot.
Well, he don't like to play with other people.
Yeah, I know. And other people supports him.
Right.
Other people is on his platform.
We all are. All our information on there. That's why.
Yeah.
It's important to have your own everywhere.
Absolutely.
Whose page is it on so I can find it? Or
It's just on Facebook.
It's on Facebook.
I know whose page though.
It's live on my page.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're connected to me on Facebook, you will definitely see it live on there. We got one more minute and we're still waiting on Miss King. We're waiting on Miss Edith King. I'd like to thank you ladies for accepting the invitation of sharing your story, because a lot of ladies out there, a lot of mothers can certainly relate to the stories and your experience that you're going to share.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yes. No mommy is alone with this experience.
No.
I don't want to take my phone down and lose connection, or I would text her and tell her we ready, but I'm scared to mess
I
up.
did. I put it in a group to let her know that we're ready. I just put it in a group that we're ready because we're about to start like right now. So if she do come in, we'll just make the adjustments as she logs in. Jackie,
Right.
you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. It's like, I'm ready. Let's go. All right, everybody. I know this is I Am My Sister's Keeper. And today we have with us Miss Jacqueline Smith and Miss Andrea. I hope I say your name right, Merriam. Merriman. Okay. And we do have another guest, Miss Edith King, that is coming. So I am Carolyn. I am the narrator of I Am My Sister's Keeper. And Miss Jacqueline Levy is the host of I Am My Sister's Keeper. Jackie, you have the mic.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Carolyn, for making this possible. Hi, guys. Well, another informative panel on I Am My Sister's Keeper. We have 3 dynamic soldiers here who are willing to tell their story of the trauma of losing their child. I salute them. I'm honored to be on this platform with these courageous mothers. But obviously, I'm not happy to be talking about the trauma of losing a child. I'm feeling kind of melancholy this morning, as I'm sure most Americans and people all over the world are feeling, due to losing loved ones to COVID-19, and watching this modern day lynching doesn't make it any better. If you're a mother, an aunt, a cousin, a sister, or friend, I'm sure you're feeling a little bit blue as well. So on this day, at this time, at this hour of the day, we dedicate this program to all of our fallen heroes who has met their demise way too early in one form or another. We are here because we refuse to let our loved ones' death be in vain, and they will live with us in our hearts forever and ever and ever. So once again, thanks to these beautiful ladies for using the trauma of losing their child to help change the world and to help others. I'm Jacqueline Levy. I'm your parent advocate. And if you're having any feelings of not being heard and being scrutinized by having and raising a child and trying to educate a child with special needs, be that bipolar, childhood schizophrenia, and all of the above, I would really wish you would reach out to me on most social media sites as Jacqueline Levy, your parent advocate, or go to my website, Jacqueline Levy, your parent advocate, and I'm sure you will find some resources there that will enlighten you and that will help you. So with that being said, parents, guys, community, have a great day. Peace and love. I love you all. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Thank you. So, ladies, what I'm going to ask y'all to do is a little bit of housekeeping, because while Jackie was talking, I heard some like banging in the background. So I will be announcing each guest speaker. If you're not speaking, okay, if you're not speaking, just mute your mic. Thank you. So I would like to turn the mic over to Ms. Jacqueline Smith. All these ladies here, community, mothers, aunties, sisters, have lost a child. They are here to share their experience of a loss of a child and what has helped them get past, get through the process of losing a child. It may not never be a process. Some mommies stay in mourning of losing a child, but there's resources out there that can help with the process, going through the process of losing a child. And these sisters, these mommies can definitely give you the resources with their experience and share. So Jacqueline, I would like to ask you to take the mic first, please.
Thank you so much. Again, I do appreciate the opportunity to be able to share with the audience this morning. So Sister Carolyn, again, like I said, I do thank you for this opportunity. So just one thing you said, for me anyway, this is not something that I will ever get over. I can get through every day with the grace of God. It is God carrying me through every day, but this is something I will never get over. My heart will be shattered for the remainder of my life. There is a hole in my heart that will never heal over. I will miss my child until I take my last breath. Even though I may not actively cry and scream and outwardly grieve every day, my life is forever changed. Again, like I said, it's not something you get over, it's something you get through, it's something you get through on a daily basis. You can move forward, but not move on. My baby girl but one of the things that has helped me is gratitude. when Chantal was born, her name is Chantal Carrie Marie Imani Warfield. She was born January 19th, 1997, and she left me October 31st, 2019. When she was born, she was premature. She was 7 weeks early. She weighed 1 pound, 13 and a half ounces. So my gratitude comes from the fact that I had her for 22 years, the fact that the Lord allowed me to mother her. And the Lord is now allowing me to carry on what she, you know, it said that, you know, your work is done when, you know, you've completed your assignment, so you've left this earth. I don't feel that at this point, because it wasn't until after she passed that I realized how much she had done in the world. One of her high school students wrote on her Facebook page how she was being bullied in school, in high school. Chantal came to her defense, you know, stood up for her in that moment, took her out, comforted her, and, you know, befriended her through that process. And then just hearing so many other stories about, you know, the things that she did and, you know, people that she helped. As a parent, you never know how the lessons you teach your children manifest when they're out into the world. And unfortunately, it wasn't until, and it wasn't something that, you know, she boasted about or bragged about or talked about what it was she did. So there were so many things that I didn't know even about her until after she passed. So, you know, just now, me being able to take that forward to assist other people that may be going through those challenges that they may need that assistance with. Now, really, part of my mission, part of my passion is to help other moms that are in that situation that may not feel like they can move on. You know, maybe they're despondent. They have not found that gratitude that, you know, that says, I thank you, Lord, for bringing that child into my life. I thank you for allowing me to be her mother. I thank you, or their mother, you know, if it was a son. I thank you for, you know, allowing me to be able to get up every day, put one foot in front of the other with your assistance, with your grace, and with your love to be able to move on. So there is something else that you need me to do, Lord. There's a reason that you've left me here to move forward. And please reveal that to me so that I may move forward effectively in you to help the next person that also may be grieving. Thank you.
Jacqueline, thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Can you tell our community how are you and what resources were available to you for you to take one day at a time? Because you're still taking, all you mommies are taking one day at a time.
And I'm sorry, one moment at a time. Sometimes it's one moment at a time. I can be here halfway coherent with you at this moment. That doesn't mean in 5 minutes I won't be on the floor bawling. So it's one moment at a time.
This is a very heartwarming, a very sensitive, it is so sensitive topic. So I'm going to say, if you feel like having your release, it's okay, because we got you. Even though we're all in different states, we still got you. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So just let our audience know what resources or support groups is out there that help you. And what city, state are you in, Jacqueline?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Okay. For the mommies that have lost children, she's going to let you know what resources is in Houston, Texas that you can connect with. So I'm going to let her talk about that.
Thank you. So there are a number of resources, and what I will say is you have to find what works for you. There's a group that is in our church that we first started attending is called Grief Share. Some people find that helpful for them as they're moving through the grief process. There's also Compassionate Friends. Just as far as for me personally, Compassionate Friends, I found is more helpful to me in this moment because it's all parents that have lost a child. Grief Share is for anyone that has lost a spouse, a sibling, things of that nature. And just for me, so this is just for me, and this is my story. There was a session of Grief Share that talked about finding a new identity outside of the loss of your loved one. And that was the last session I attended. I will never have another identity outside of being Chantal and Stefan's mom. I will forever be Chantal's mother. That identity will never change. So again, that was just something that was said that didn't resonate with my spirit, so I had to move on from that group. However, if that's something that's helpful for you, absolutely, please reach out and, take advantage of anything that is out there that can assist you in your moving forward. My church has been an amazing help through this process, but really it's leaning on the Lord. It's, seeking him on a regular basis which he does. He literally carries me through every day. And that's really what has helped me move forward. And then I've also had other friends that know of the situation that have connected me with other mothers that have been through similar situations. So, having that personal connection also has been a tremendous help as well.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Our next guest speaker is Miss Andrea Merriman. Andrea, you have the mic to share your experience of the loss of your child. And please give the resources in your city, state that other mothers can connect with. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Jacqueline, for sharing your piece with us also. I was sitting thinking, I'm like, yes, one moment at a time. Sometimes you think it's going to take a day, but then that whole day turns into something totally different. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea Merriman. I'm a creative harmony coach and a master domestic violence help coach. And all of that, both of those titles that I carry, along with mom and all those other pieces, come from my loss. My loss actually started in March of 1999 when my oldest daughter, Lois, who was born with a chromosome deficiency of 4p minus, had a seizure in her sleep and had a heart attack. I was actually out of town presenting to other mothers of children with special needs how to find a provider. And if you remember 1999, you didn't have cell phones hanging out with you like you do now. So all I had was a bag phone in my car. And so in between lunches, you'd go and make a call. So that was a long drive. But with that, even though I knew that she had disabilities and challenges with her health, it still was not expected. And it was a long road. And I started reevaluating what was important and the pieces of, but then some of that went the wrong way too. I became a shopaholic because one of the things I had done was saved and saved and saved. And I was going to save for a house, save for this. And after that, I said, well, all the money we saved still didn't save her. So I spent everything. So it was a bad spiral down that I had to regroup from and work through on my own self. And so when my kids grew up and I had 5 other daughters, and one of them was in a domestic violence situation. And after 4 months of marriage, she left him, but she was already expecting. So she tried to keep a relationship with him. When that didn't work, he insisted on not accepting boundaries. And that's one of the big things that I speak about, is just being able to communicate boundaries. And so just when I thought everything from Lois's death, I had worked through, and, therapy, meditation, I can handle this, I can talk about it. Well, September 2014, he invaded our home and made a mess of things with guns and shot Jennifer 5 times and murdered her. And it wasn't his wife that he shot, it was her sister. He couldn't find his wife, so he was super angry. So he shot her sister 5 times. We were all in the house. There was more of us here. Bad situation I'm not going to get into because it's early in the day. Don't want to traumatize all you guys, but just know that Jennifer was the person we thought was going to do so much. Jennifer in the 3rd grade was identified as academically gifted and intellectually gifted. So here I was, my first child was severe and profound. And now I have a child that's academically gifted. So I'm learning IEPs and on different levels with all my kids. But with Jennifer, all her scores were in the 90s. She made 1,500 on the SAT in the 7th grade. She was accepted to 6 boarding schools in the 8th grade. She decided herself to enroll in the early college, which we have in North Carolina, which means that she was, at this time, she was 17 and she was going to graduate with honors from high school and with an associate's degree. So that year was going to be her senior year. That's all she talked about. My senior year, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So when this happened, it was like, oh my gosh, it was not expected. And it was a really downfall. What do we do? How do we do it? Because this happened in September, and because of the damage from the bullets and everything in my house, we were out of our home. Now we're homeless. And we were out of our home. And so, we had to work with that. Grief, homeless, trying to plan a funeral, all at the same time. So, and I'm telling these things not to traumatize people, but to understand that when you look at parents that are in, especially in this economic downfall that we have now and the things that are going on, when you look at parents that are dealing with that, give them some time, give them some place, because you see the drama that had happened, the trauma that had happened, and you wanted to console them, but it may be just time to ask them what they need from you. During this time with Jennifer, and one of the things that, because of her academic status, she was in the Duke TIP program, which Duke University identifies talent gifted kids, and they sent them to school. Actually, it's a summer camp during the summer for 3 weeks, and they teach them a year's worth of college in 3 weeks. But the main focus on it is to teach the academically gifted social skills, because until she went, she didn't have any, and she couldn't understand why the rest of us couldn't understand what she was talking about, and it was because it went over our head, but this gave her people to talk to on her level. So when all of this happened with Jennifer, one of the things that we found out, those kids, we actually had her funeral at one of the universities near here, because we had to stream it live because of all the children she had met and that she had touched across the globe. Friends from Australia, Japan, that had come in for this Duke TIP program. So, but one of the things that I did find was one little boy, I got a letter from Duke TIP, and I have one little boy told me that, including himself, Jennifer had talked 150 kids out of completing suicide, because she had a private Facebook group of her own where she'd always talk. She'd ask me stuff like, Mama, what would you think if I did this? Mama, what would you think if I did that? Not saying that she had already done it, but and so that was one of the things that I saw that she was doing on her own. And so one of the things that happened because of my networking, the SWAN, which was the Women's Association here, started a fund in Jennifer's name. And one of the pieces that came from that also was I created a program for domestic violence victims and those at risk. It's a unique program. It took all of the pieces that people say this is why I didn't get out or why I'm not leaving, and it put it in a comprehensive program. And it's called the Jennifer Y. Merriman Help Program. It's been running since 2015. I used all the resources that helped me, the domestic violence center in our area. There was not, as she said, in this area, there's not a lot of grief for parents. I did once working with one of the women's centers here, Mary Martha Center. We tried to start a parent group, but we didn't get a lot of people showing up. So I've just dedicated my life to disrupting the normalcy of domestic violence and just trying to eradicate it. And I use help because Jennifer always wanted to help. She said her main job was she wanted to help teens from dysfunctional families. And I started with helping teens because I have a teen program too. But God led me to understand that if you want to help the children, you're going to help heal the parents, because the mothers can't teach anything that they don't know. And so that's been my life focus. That's kind of where I am now. And that's kind of what keeps me motivated and keep me going.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Great resources that you mentioned. All you ladies have shared your resources. They're great resources where the mommies can come and reach out to those resources to connect and help them as well. Our next guest speaker is Miss Edith King. And Miss Edith King, you have the mic. You gotta unmute it.
Very much. And I do need you to make me host. I'd like to share some pictures with you, please. Carolyn, if you could make me host, that would be great. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Edith King, as it's been mentioned. I'm married. I've been married for 28 years now. And this is my daughter, Naila. And Naila was, Naila was the third of my children. She was the baby. And she has two other sisters. And she passed May 11th, 2015. And she received her Bachelor's of Science and in business. And you can see by her smile, she loved people. She, you know, when she came in the room, she would light up the room, you know. The one thing I really remember about Naila is that no matter who you were, she accepted you where you were at. And that's, you know, to me, that's a rarity. I don't know, she didn't get that from me. I'm sorry, she just didn't. She was special. And this is my daughter and myself. And I remember when she held me that day, it was something special about it. You know, she would like, I'm not a touchy-feely person, but Naila was. And that day she came over to me and hugged me and stuff. So this is a special picture for me. This is Naila. And over here is John. And I'll talk more about John in a few minutes, because he plays a special part in our story. Naila died from cancer. And I wanted to give you the big long list, but basically the cancer was very aggressive. She searched for help, and in Georgia, where I live now, she really couldn't find the health care that she needed. Um, and she had this lump under her stomach, under her breast, and she didn't know what it was, and she was seeking help for it. And so she was able to get to the doctor. And Naila would always ask me, Mom, she would have irregular periods. And she said, Mom, if I never can have any children, would it be okay with you? And I said, of course. I mean, I looked for having grandkids, but if you can't have, kids, that's fine. And so when she went in for the mass in February 15th of 2015, she found out she was pregnant. And she said, no, I can't have any kids. I can't be pregnant. And the nurse said, yes, you are. So they really didn't know what to do, because this mass was large. They didn't know whether to take the baby or, remove the mass. And the baby was feeding off of the mass was feeding off the food from the baby. So they had to take the baby first. So this was the 15th of February now. And on February 18th, she had the baby. So she called me on the phone. She's telling me, one, she's pregnant. And then the other one is she's going to have this baby. And lo and behold, she did. And I don't know, these are not the best pictures, but the baby, you could hold the baby in your hand. I remember Jacqueline, no. Someone was saying that they had a premature baby. That was Jacqueline. And she could hold the baby in her hand. He was really, really small, but she got a couple of months to be with her baby before she got really, really, really sick. By this time, I lived in California at the time, and I was able to fly to Georgia to be with Naila in this period of time before she passed. And that was such a blessing to be able to do that. So the baby, premature babies, it's my understanding, they have a lot of times they stay in the hospital. Maceo is his name, and Maceo John Thomas stayed in the hospital for almost 11 months. And when he finally came home, he got a cold and he had to be hospitalized again. And in the process of being hospitalized again, he somehow the mucus got, anyway, they had to resuscitate him. He stopped breathing for 20 minutes. And he lived through that. And I, all the time, was coming back and forth to Georgia to see Maceo. And this is my husband. And now Maceo is growing. He's still small, but he's very, very strong. And this is my husband. We would go back and forth seeing Maceo. And again, this is Maceo. And I say he's special, but he is. I mean, this little hand gesture is just some of the things he may do or say. But no one told him to do that. He just did it on his own. And this is John. And John is very, very loving. They live together, and they live now, since we moved to Atlanta, to Georgia. They live about an hour away from us. And before the virus started, I was able to take Maceo to church with me. And this was just a special time because we were able to bond, and I was able to hold him and, love on him, which I couldn't do going back and forth from California. But John has kind of dedicated his life to helping Maceo. And Maceo still has some issues. He still has a G tube that can be removed now because Maceo's drinking milk and eating and everything like that. But with the virus, it kind of slowed down the process of him removing the G tube. But John has been very, very special for a guy. He's been really special. And this is Maceo. Maceo's now 5. And he goes to, well, he graduated. He's in kindergarten now. He graduated from preschool to kindergarten. So Naila, like others have said, I still haven't gotten over her death, really. The one thing that I learned that, you know, God giveth and God taketh away. And I didn't believe that God would take Naila from me. I tried. I don't do everything right, but I go to church and I pray. I have a relationship with him. And we prayed. And Naila was just 36 years old, you know, so I didn't think she would die. But the one thing I learned, and I'll share with everyone I can, our kids are not our own. They belong to God. And he always, you know, he knows what's best. And so he took Naila. And for me, it changed me quite a bit because I really, really, it was the first time I got so close to death. When she died, I wanted to just jump right on top of the bed because she was in hospice and just hug her. But between me and you, I'm a little afraid of dead people, so I didn't do that. But I wanted to. I got a chance to say goodbye to her. I got a chance to thank her for being my daughter, and she thanked me for being her mother. And I cried, but I didn't cry as much as I need to. You know, I still need to do some crying, even after 5 years. So I hope I've answered, you know, my experience, told my story. And if I would love to keep in contact with you ladies. And the only thing I could think of is thanking you for for allowing me to share Naila with you and to hear your stories, and hope that this is going to be recorded because there are other women that could benefit from listening to you and your stories. And the reason I asked you to, if you could go to my this website here, and at the bottom of it, put your name and your email so I can keep in contact with you. Some of the things that I've done since Naila has passed was I'm hoping to create a school. So I'm building a technical school. I'm all about technology. And so if you would, you know, go to this website and put your name, I can keep in contact with you. And that's all I have. Thanks again for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Ladies, thank you for sharing everything that you have shared with the communities. This is, I'm sorry, this is being recorded, and each of you will also get a copy of the recording so that you may share it. And hopefully it reaches a lot of mommies across the world because they need to hear your story. Each story is different and it will touch mommies in different ways, but it's things that they need to hear to let them know they're not the only ones that are going through it. Personally, for me, I have not lost a child. I've always imagined, like, what would I do if something was to ever happen to my child? And I really, even though I try to imagine it, I can't until it actually happens. And my thing is, I hope it never happens. As mommies, we all want that. It never happens. But because of life events, life situations, the environment, things tend to go in another direction, unfortunately. So having said that, thank you all for sharing. I will keep in contact with all of you because there's more work to be done, and you have it. You have a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of parents. You do have single men. I must say this because it's not just mommies that have lost children, but you have single men parents that have also lost a child. So your stories can reach out to them as well. With the single men parents that have lost children for one reason or another. Jackie, you have the mic, lady.
Yes, I just would like to say I said I was feeling melancholy a little bit, but after listening to these courageous ladies, I'm feeling inspired. Because, like Andrea said, we cannot help the kids without helping the parents. So that's why I am your parent advocate. And once again, thank you, ladies, for not being strong, but showing how you can survive. You're surviving. We are not strong, we are just surviving. So, on that note, once again, thanks again. I can't thank you all enough. And thank you, Callan, for your platform. Everyone have a great day. And ladies, you know how to get in touch with me. We have all each other's number. Let's continue to keep in contact. Thanks again. Family and friends out there, please share the broadcast. It may help someone. Have a great day, guys. I love everybody.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.